I am going to be drawing a gorgeous little dog, and I thought before I started I would show you the materials that I'm going to be using. I'm also going to show you the image. Hopefully it'll show on screen with my iPad. So this is our image. A little bit of shine there because it's on my iPad. And we are going to be drawing this using a load of Derwent materials. So I'm going to be using Derwent Lightfast paper. This is actually one of my favourite hot press papers. If I was to choose a hot press paper, this would definitely be one of the contenders. This is a pad of, it's 9 by 12, so it's not massive, but it's a lovely size for what I'm going to be doing with this little Corgi and all those gorgeous colours. The paper has got lots of lovely tooth, to be honest, so you can get lots of nice layers on there. It's sort of like a warm white, so it's going to be perfect for what we're going to be doing. And then I am going to be combining a couple of different Derwent pencil sets. So the first one we're going to be using is the Derwent Drawings. Sorry about that, there's a light going through there. The Derwent Drawings. I'm just going to, this is a brand new set, so I can open it up and show you what they look like without them all falling out because they've still got the cellophane on the top. So these are the Derwent Drawings. The drawings are a set of 24 very earthy tones, so a really good pencil for doing the background on this lovely autumnal piece. They're also very soft, so they blend really beautifully, and the colours are very earthy and autumnal, so they're perfect for what we're going to be doing. And then I'm also going to be using my Derwent Lightfasts. So again, these are, still all packaged up, so I can show you the inside without them falling out. Again, we have got the full set here, so there's 100 of the Derwent Lightfast. Really beautiful pencils, really lovely colour range, all highly Lightfast, beautifully made, and it's going to be really exciting. We're going to be doing this piece together, so I'm very excited to get cracking. So we have our lovely Corgi all drawn out. I have used a graphite pencil on the Lightfast paper, and we're going to make a start with the background. I'm using the Derwent Drawing pencils. These are a really gorgeous, like I said in the introduction, lovely, thick, creamy pencil, perfect for this kind of a project. And here we're using the yellow ochre. So I'm just going round and round in little circles just to sort of try and get a relatively even texture down. Now, of course, with this being colour pencil, it's all about the layers. So the first layer is going to look like the paper's coming through, and that's absolutely fine. And we're just going to continue working across the whole of the top of the Corgi. Obviously this is time-lapsed, I don't work this fast, but using that exact same technique, just round and round, adding in the yellow. Next we have the green, which is olive earth. So a really nice green, a really sort of dark earthy green. And then we come into using the Mars orange. So these are all the Derwent Drawing ranges, and yeah, they work really nicely together, kind of using the yellow predominantly because the main base of this drawing is yellow. Then we come in for a second layer, just building those colours up, and I've started to introduce some of the Lightfast pencils here. This is the Lightfast Flame that we've got. It's a really vibrant, bright orange. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then I've got a range of yellows that I've used as well. We've used the mustard, the amber gold, which is a really nice colour. And we've also used golden sun. The greens in the Lightfast range that I've used, predominantly I use the really dark green, which is called Forest, which is nice. And then with the yellows over the top, you start to get like a lighter, more vibrant green coming through there as well. I'm also using the Mars orange, which is a really lovely colour, and the dark orange. The dark orange is one of my absolute favourite oranges. It's just absolutely brilliant. Then when I got a few layers in, I went over the top of all of those layers again just to help smooth them out with the Derwent Drawing Wheat, and then kind of pulled out a few more of those little vibrant areas again, just using a range of those colours that I've mentioned. There's a little bit of black in there just to darken up and to create a little bit of contrast. So now we're coming into the actual Corgi himself or herself. Starting off with the Lightfast black. Now I did have to sharpen my pencil a little bit here because it just wasn't sharp enough, and I used my Derwent Super Point sharpener, and oh my goodness, that point, you'll see in a minute, is so sharp. It's like a pin. Really, really nice little sharpener, you know, and it gives you an incredibly long, very sharp point. So using the black here just to create the eye area. This is a very small drawing, so we can't get a ton of detail in here. It's almost impossible to get the detail in because it is so small. So, you know, just kind of concentrate. There you go. Look how sharp that is. You know, just concentrating on the main shapes and the values. You can see how tiny this is. And that's the most important thing to remember. So just getting your shapes correct and your values when you're drawing things like the features like eyes and noses and all of that kind of thing. Using quite light pressure, so I don't need to press very hard on this particular surface, on the Derwent Lightfast paper. I don't need to press hard. I can just build my layers up, and as I kind of work through the layers, I will build my pressure up a little bit. But at the moment, I'm just kind of getting the shape of the eye correct in there. I like to do the outside of the eye first because it gives me the correct shape and the correct size, and then I can go in and I can work on the pupil area. So just adding a little bit of blue in the corner here. You know, it doesn't necessarily need it, but it's quite nice, and that blue is deep blue is what it's called. So it just gives it a little bit of an extra lift. You know, if there's a you know, something other than black within the eye or the eyelids, it's quite nice. Then I use my Mars Black for the first layer of the pupil. Mars Black is my most favourite pencil ever, and I use lots of different brands of pencils, but the Mars Black Lightfast is my total favourite. It's so versatile. It's the most fantastic, rich, reddy black. It looks quite faint here, and that's purely because I'm using it with really light pressure. I've added a little bit of the oranges in there, so I think I put like the flame in there and also a little bit of the dark orange in there, and then kind of darkened the pupil area up with the black. And then we go on to the second eye. Like I say, these are very simple eyes. You know, if you were drawing a portrait that is sort of a regular size, a 10 by 12, something like that, you know, your eyes are going to be much bigger, so you're going to be able to put a lot more detail in. But for something this small, where actually the focal point isn't necessarily on the eyes, you don't have to put a massive amount of detail in. You can see it's just, we just make sure that the pupils are dark, make sure it's got a little bit of catch light. And I always like a little bit of light in the bottom as well. Then we just move on to the rest of the Corgi. So creating these lovely little ears. I'm using a mixture of Mars Violet and, oh, what's that violet-y colour there? That one's the Wild Lavender. That's a really gorgeous, 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 gorgeous sort of pale purpley colour. It works so nicely. I've got the natural brown in there, and we've got a little bit of the champagne. So the champagne is the Lightfast cream, basically. It's a really nice, creamy, pale, yellowy colour. And I think we've also got some fossil grey in there as well. Another brilliant, brilliant colour. Honestly, the colours in the Lightfast range are spectacular. They really, really are beautiful. That's a little bit of white in there, just sort of trying to blend everything out. So again, you can see that there doesn't have to be a massive amount of detail in there. It's the layering, you know, that the layering is what kind of helps mix the colours together. We've got the natural brown going on here. And of course, using complementary colours too. So we've got a lot of yellows in the background. So of course, if we use purples, they're going to look amazing. purple and yellow being complementary colours. So they're always going to look really, really great together. So I wanted to bring some of those purples into those little ears just so that they would stand out even more. The initial layers, I kind of work with the texture. So I try and bring a little bit of the texture of what I'm drawing in. I find it helps. There's no right way of doing anything. There's all sorts of different ways, and this is my preferred way of drawing fur. Yes, this is a bit of a speedier, I guess, more painterly subject. It's not sort of highly realistic, but it's done on a smaller scale, and it was done so that I can kind of teach it in a shorter period of time. This whole piece took me 4 hours total to create. Okay, so we're on to the head. And I'm using the sandstone for this, a really nice mid-orange, sort of burnt ochre-y type colour. Nice. It's a nice, quite a neutral orange, quite an earthy orange. And you can see these initial layers, we're not getting a huge amount of structure in there. It's more about just kind of blocking colour in. This is the dark orange that I was telling you about. Oh my goodness, it's the most fantastic colour. I'm going to say that about all of them, aren't I? It's such a great colour. The end of it, it almost looks black, but then you've got this really, really, really rich sort of burnt orange that comes out. It's a superb colour. And I'm mixing that with the sandstone, and they work really, really nicely together. So you can see I'm following the direction of the fur. Very important when it comes to anything, remotely realistic. So following the direction of the fur so that we can get a really nice understanding and feeling of the little head. So using, again, that Mars black, that sort of lovely reddy, dark black, bringing the little eyebrow areas in. And of course, when we start to bring the eyebrows area in, that's when the character starts to arrive. It's with anything, eyebrows are so important. And the positioning of them, all of that kind of thing, really, really, really key, particularly for a little dog like this. So, once we start to put those kind of details in, then the piece will start to come to life. Before then, it looks quite flat. We've got a little bit of colour in there, but we don't have the character in life until you get those little details in that are sort of eyebrows and all of that kind of thing. So I'm using the pale peach there just to go over everything and just soften it all out. It's a really, really nice way. It's not burnishing, but kind of as you're putting your layers down, going over with a lighter colour. With a little bit of pressure, just squashes everything into the tooth, and it helps to sort of blend all of those colours together, and it also smooths out a little bit, so you're not getting all of the texture from the paper. The Lightfast paper is quite textured, which is a good thing because it means that we can get, quite a lot of layers in there. And of course, then we bring that purple back in. The Mars Violet, perfect combination with the orange fur. It's a split complementary of orange, and it's going to give you some really, really nice shadows. And then we're back in with that sandstone again, just sort of gently bringing in some of the sort of the hair in the cheek area there. And then I bring the whiskers in now. I've used the white Lightfast, and what I was hoping was that they would kind of have a little bit of a resist. I've kind of put a little bit of pressure in there as well, and they did have a bit of a resist. My problem was I didn't sharpen the pencil enough, so the whiskers are quite fat, but it doesn't matter. They look fine in the end. And then we're back in again with those oranges and the Mars black. So for this little Corgi, the orange is the sandstone, the dark orange, and then the very dark reddy black, the Mars black, and the Mars violet were the predominant colours in this animal. And you can use all sorts of different colours in there as well, but those are my three main colours that I used in here. And then of course we had some greys and all of that kind of stuff. The nose area, very important. When you come to draw like the bridge of the nose, you really need to concentrate on how the fur is working, what direction it's going, all of that kind of thing. It is just really, really key to get it right, because otherwise it kind of doesn't look like what you want it to look like. Using my Mars black again just to sort of map out the mouth area and like the bottom bit of the nose. And then we've got that pale peach again coming in here, which is It's a really, really good colour. It's a good colour for skin tones. And it's just a good colour for those oranges, just to sort of blend everything together. Like I said before, it's not burnishing. It's just sort of like a slightly stronger pressure. But you're not burnishing. You don't want to push all of the pigment into the tooth, because, you know, we want to obviously add more layers in there. This is the dark orange again. Gosh, I love this colour. I absolutely love this colour. And you can see then I've got my dark colour, then I put a light colour over the top, you know, just to help that sort of blending stage. And that's a really good technique, not just to use with other sort of more abrasive papers, but to use with these hot press papers as well. It works really, really nicely. It's a super technique to use. And then we're just starting to richen the colour. Values are incredibly important when it comes to realism. In fact, they're probably one of the most important pillars of realism, getting your values correct. Your dark's dark, your light's light, just really, really important. This grey is the platinum, I believe. They have a nice range of greys in the Lightfast range, from sort of cool greys to more warmer greys. My favourite grey, which we will be using a little bit more of later, is the fossil grey, which has a slightly pinky tinge to it. And here you'll see me adding a little bit of that blue again, that I put in the eye, but then it didn't really work, so I sort of came over the top of it with the Mars Violet. And it just goes to show that, you know, if you make a mistake, and we all make mistakes, it really doesn't matter with coloured pencils. You can just layer over the top of it, and it can work really, really well. Now we're starting to work on the little nose area. So I think I'm just using that dark blue again, the deep blue I think it's called, just to give it a little bit extra something. It's always quite nice to use a blue or a red underneath the black. And then we come back in again with the black, just to kind of really darken it all up. And you can see I'm using very, very, very small pencil strokes. You can also see that there are no details in that nose. There are no nostrils, there are no nothing, but it looks like a nose. I think you'll all agree it looks like a little nose. And this is another trick with realism. You don't have to put all of the details in. You can make a suggestion, and because we know what things look like, we just fill the gaps in. So that's awesome. So, you know, if you've got a nose where the nostrils don't show, don't worry about it. Just you know, do what it says on the tin. Just draw what's in front of you and it will look absolutely fine. You can see there the indenting kind of worked with the white, and it's resisted, and my black's just kind of gone over the top of it. So that was quite good. That's worked quite well. You know, a little bit of pressure and the white, and it's just resisted the colour. They were a little bit too fat, but hey, nobody minds. Then we come on to the tongue area, and I was kind of trying to find a pink, and the only really deep pink in the Lightfast range is the magenta. So that's what I used. And then I went and used the darker colour, which is called Bordeaux. And I think I also used the Nightshade. Nightshade is the most amazing dark purple. Absolutely incredible colour. And it worked quite nicely. Look at those little teeth. There's no detail in there. There's just some shapes. And it worked really, really well. Again, kind of tweaking the face area. I've kind of pulled him down now so that we can see the whole thing. And yeah, he's starting to take shape and looking quite nice with that background there as well. This is the pale peach again. So this side of the Corgi, the left side, is slightly in shadow. So the fur is a little bit more orangey. And of course, it's taking on a little bit of a reflection from the orangey fur that's around it as well. This is the sepia. Nice colour. It's like a pinky beigey colour. And actually, it worked really, really well for what I was trying to achieve in the in that shadow area under the white fur. So this is all white fur underneath his chin. And then we've got like a little bit of a ruff, and then we've got a bit of a shadow, and then we've got white fur again. And you can see I'm putting quite a lot of colour into that white fur. This is the fossil grey that I'm using there. Oh, honestly, it's another really good colour. You'll be like, every single colour is a really good colour, Bonnie. What are you on about? But the white fur, really, really important to bring colour in, particularly when we've got a background like we've got here, particularly when we've got all of the orangey bits in the dog as well. So I'm using that yellow ochre again with the drawing pencil, just bringing down onto the outside, so we've got all of that background in. I'm going to do that bottom bit with the leaves and everything later. I've got a little bit of the, I think this one was the amber gold again, really nice yellow, and a little bit of the champagne just to squash it in. And then I think I bring the dark orange in just to kind of bring some little sort of, I don't know, I think they're leaves, to make it look like leaves. And we've got a bit of flame in there as well. These two pencils work really, really well together. The drawings just to kind of get the initial layers down, and then the Lightfast just to add a little bit of vibrancy, because of course the drawings are quite a muted pencil and we've got much more vibrant colours in the Lightfast range. And then we come back to the little Corgi, just bringing in the leg in there. I think I slowed down a little bit here just to sort of show you how the hair is, oh, here we go, how the hair is kind of coming in, and my pencil strokes here, so you can see my pencil strokes going sort of up and down, and then I might go side to side because I might want a little bit of a shade in there. It's all about getting the feel of the fur. That's what's really, really important here, the feel of the fur, you know, so it looks like what it is that we're drawing. That's what's really important. I'm using the Mars orange, the Mars black there, and you can see it's not going on very, very dark, and that's because I'm using a technique called glazing, where I can just kind of just bring a little bit of that colour in over the top. So we've got that dark orange again coming down here, the Mars black, the sandstone. I want to make this, in between the legs here, really nice and dark, so it's all in shadow. Again, really important to get these contrasty bits in, and try not to be scared about getting the shadows and the contrast and stuff in, because, you know, it makes such a difference. And the white fur again, you know, all of that's white, but look at all of the colour that's going in there. There's, you know, those sort of violety colours. There's the Mars violet. There's the oranges. There's the fossil grey, and it still looks white, you know. But we need all of the lovely shadows. His cute little paw in there. I think he used a little bit of black and a little bit of the Mars black in there as well. So he's properly striding out through the leaves, and then we've got kind of a layer of leaves that have got a little bit more detail in there. Not hugely detailed, but, you know, there's enough to make them not look like they're out of focus like the rest of the piece. Used a little bit of green. I used racing green, I think, in there, and the yellows that I used, you know, throughout the piece, and the oranges. So Mars orange, sandstone, dark orange, those yellows, which are the apricot, amber gold, and the mustard, and what was the other one? Can't remember what the other one was. Golden sun, you know, and then kind of came over the top and sort of added a little bit more vibrancy in places. And then just a little bit of touching up when we're finished. So, you know, a little bit more saturation in those areas around the side of the head, and, you know, a little bit more of the fur, you know, fur lines, just to sort of indicate that it's fur in there, and then we were pretty much done. So it's a really, really nice piece to do, the colours worked beautifully. I loved these autumnal colours. The pencils that I used worked so nicely together, and they worked really, really well on the Lightfast paper as well. Yeah, I enjoyed working on this. I enjoyed using these different brands together. The colours, particularly, I think, in the Lightfast range, are superb. There are certainly colours in there that don't appear in other sets of pencils. And the Derwent Drawing are just a really nice small set of pencils that are affordable, that are highly Lightfast. And if you like sort of sketching, or you like doing the backgrounds and all of that kind of stuff, they're perfect for that. They're absolutely perfect. So this is the little Corgi. And I don't often do touching up at the end of a piece because I very often it's easy to kind of overdo something or kind of go a little bit wrong, and then you're like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. So tweaking is something that I don't really recommend, but I did a little bit of tweaking on this just to sort of, create a little bit more vibrancy in some of the colours. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was useful. Lovely pencils from Derwent, really, really nice pencils from Derwent, and I use these ones quite a lot in the work that I do on a regular basis, particularly those fabulous oranges and the violets, and of course my favourite of all of them, the Mars Black. So thank you for listening and hope you enjoyed it.